Right, let's get you set up for email marketing with Mailerlite. So the first thing you're going to do is click on the link, head on over and create your Mailerlite account. Once you've done that, come back and we will move on to the next step. So hit pause now, go and sign up. You'll need to put all your details in, verify your email address, all the usual things. Head back here and we'll work on to the next step. So here we are with our free Mailerlite account, and there's a few settings we need to check before we dive on in. So what I want you to do is click on account settings on the left hand side, and we're just going to run through the various account settings. So the first thing we want to check is that we have our organization settings in there, we have our address, we have the right time zone and the right format. If you need to update anything here, just make sure you click the save changes at the bottom. Next up we have our default settings. So we have a few things here I want you to check. So the first one is that sender name. So I'm going to change that to my name and then my business name. Now the reason I do that is because I know if an email comes to me from a company, I know that it's email marketing. If it comes from a person though, like a person's name, I'm more likely to open it. So that's why I want to do that there. And then we want to click this little box here. So if enabled, the recipient's name will be displayed in the to field in their email client, so who it's been sent to. And then we have our logo. We can upload a default logo there. As we come on down, we can connect up our Google Analytics account if we want to track visits to our landing pages, if we use this to create a website, that sort of thing. We can have our social links ticked in there, and then we come down to our company details and unsubscribe disclaimer. So personally, I like to check this box here that says automatically generate a footer from the company details, and then that way I know that if I do change my company details, if I change my address, my office address, something like that, then it's automatically going to be updated there. And then we have this email unsubscribe disclaimer and the email unsubscribe link text. So by default, it's just going to have a really basic sort of unsubscribe, but you might want to pop in, something that's a little bit more on brand, using your brand tone of voice. I've seen people put things in here like, go ahead, break my heart and unsubscribe. Oops, subscribe. You can obviously make it a little bit fun as long as it's very clear that that is the link to unsubscribe. We need to have that word unsubscribe in there. I'm actually going to delete that. I'm going to leave it with the sort of basic text, and I'm going to click Save Changes in the corner here. And then if we scroll back up to the top, we have domains. Now I'm using a free account, so I can't connect up a custom domain because you need to have a paid plan there. But custom domains are used if you are, creating a landing page, or you can create a full website here in Mailerlite. That's where you would connect up your custom domain. And then we have link tracking. So in your link tracking, you can edit these UTM fields. So UTM links are used to track campaigns, find out where people clicked on the links, and track the number of clicks and all those sorts of things. So you can edit these in here. I'm pretty happy with the standard ones that are provided there, so I won't worry about anything there. So that's our account settings. So now we're going to go back to our dashboard, and there's just one other place that we want to sort of update things, and it is, let me think, where is it going to be? Actually, it's under sites. So what we're going to do first is we're going to create a landing page. So the landing page is where people hand over their email address. So it's like a really simple page, a single page website with a single purpose. So we click on sites, and once that's loaded, we're going to go ahead and create a landing page. So the first thing we need to do is give it a name. So I'm going to call it website signups. Now this is only for internal use, so no one else is going to see this. We're going to make sure we've selected landing page, and we're going to click on save and continue. Now the next field here, we have our subscriber groups. So subscriber groups are a way to segment your audience. So if you just want to send an email to one group within your audience, then this is where we would set up that group. So another way to think of them are like interest groups, or you might have different types of people within your business. You might have suppliers, clients, that sort of thing. So what we could do is add a new group, and we could call it website signups. So we know that anyone in this group has signed up via our website. So if we wanted to send an email just to the people who had signed up via the website, we would send it to this group. So we make sure it's ticked and we click on continue. And then we create our landing page. Now, a quick thing to note is that there are a ton of really great templates here, which you can use if you have a paid plan. So we're on the free plan, which means we can't use these templates. If we wanted to upgrade, we would click on this upgrade button here on the right. But I'm going to go ahead instead. I'm going to start from scratch and click on create. And then this will create the sort of basic landing page for us. And we're going to go ahead and make it customized for our own business. So once this loads, it does take a little bit of time to load. It's just creating that landing page in our account for us. And then we're going to go ahead and edit that. Before we edit it though, there's a few sort of settings which I recommend that we take care of. So as you can see, everything is very much, Mailerlite themed. It's got the green, it's got the fonts, all of that sort of thing. So we need to make this customized to our business using our fonts and our colors. So up on the right hand side here, what we're going to do is we're going to stay on the settings page here, but we're basically going to work our way down. Now these are the universal settings for this landing page. So it's best to do this at the start. Otherwise you find you have to edit every little thing as you go. So let's work our way down. We're going to leave the page layout as full width, but you can change that if you like. And the spacing we're going to leave as large. If we click on regular, it just sort of changes that spacing there, but we'll leave it on large. I'm not going to worry about animations. I don't think we need animations here. But the first thing I'm going to do is turn off that page header. Now up the top here, this section here where we've got blocks, templates and contact us, that is the page header. Now I don't think it's relevant for this landing page because remember we have one purpose, to collect people's email addresses. So I'm going to untick that. Now we also have these two here. So we have a page footer and a notification bar. I'm going to leave those unticked there. So then we come down to font. This is where we need to make it look like it is specifically created for your business. So under fonts here, you'll see there's a number of different options. Now your exact font may not be available, but we want to do, we want to create as close as possible. Now I'm pretty lucky. I used Playfair Display. So my font is in there. So I've clicked on that and that has updated things there. Now, one thing I use for my sort of main text, like the body text there, is a different font. So what I'll do in that case is I'm going to click down here where it says text. I'm going to click on that one there, and I'm actually going to change that to my main body text that I use, which is this one here. And I'm going to click on save. There we go. Okay, so the next thing is our button. So our primary button is green. Doesn't make sense for my business, so I'm going to click on there. I'm going to pop in my brand color. So I use a blue, which is 1F5775. So that's a sort of a dark blue there. Oh, let's go back in there. Okay, so with my text also, I might actually change to that other text, the body text. I think that might look a little bit nicer. And then can you see very slight green sort of line around the edge there? So this is this one here. So this is the border style. So what I'm going to do instead is, it doesn't have the option for no border. So instead I'm going to make this number a 0. So effectively that's made the border a 0 thickness, which is nothing. So it's removed that border there. So then the next thing we want to fix for that button, if you see here when I hover over, it turns green. So I want to change that by clicking on hover. So this is the green button up here. I'm going to change that to another one of my brand colors, which is BED 2D8. I'll hit enter. So now when we hover over that button, it just sort of changes to that lighter blue, which is my brand colors. So that's looking pretty good there. Let's come on down and just check. So we have secondary button there. If we click on that, that is just a dark gray. So I'm fine with that. If we come on down, we have form, we have input. Let's check that font. So the form input is that heading font, the Playfair Display. I'm actually going to change that to the other font I use, and we'll save that. Heading label, Actually, I'm going to do the same there. I'm going to change it to, but you can just play around with it. The good thing is that once you've set all of this, it doesn't matter what you add over here, it's going to pull through those settings. So that's why we do it first, so that we don't have to update every single, section that we add in here. So I'm happy with all of that. So I've got all of my information there. Now, what we're going to do once we have edited this is we're actually going to clear out this landing page. So if I scroll down, there's actually quite a bit here in the landing page. So I don't need all of that. So I'm going to click on Actions, and I'm going to click on Remove Content Blocks. And it asks you to type in the word remove. Obviously, you've got to be very intentional when you're making a big change to a page like this. So I'll hit remove. Now we have everything cleared out. So we've got our settings done, and now we need to piece back together our landing page. So what we're going to do is click on blocks. Now, the first thing we can add is our form. We know we need a form on this page. So we're going to scroll down until we see sign up form, which is this one here. And the way we add a block to the landing page is we just drag and we drop. So now I have this subscribe here. Now, straight away, I can tell that I don't actually like the font on the button there. So what I'm going to do is actually head back to my settings. I'm going to scroll down to my button, and I'm going to check that font was, so it looks like I have changed the font there. Is there somewhere else? No. That's odd that it's not picking up that text. Maybe that is a secondary button. No, I don't think that is a secondary button. Okay, so what we're going to do instead is hover over. We're going to click on it so that we've got our edit there. We're going to go into the settings, and then I'm going to scroll down to where I see button here. And I'm going to check, there's that font there. I don't know why that didn't update earlier. Let's change that there and save. That looks much nicer. Okay, so the next thing I want to edit with this form is I want to add in another field. So at the moment, we just have email and subscribe. So when I click on form on the right here, I can now add another field. So I want to add name. Now, the reason I want to collect people's names is I want the ability to personalize my email when I send it to them, because we know if we personalize emails, it's much more likely that someone's going to open that email. But what I want to do is just reorder these so that the name, so I'm just dragging name above email. So we now have name, we have email, and we have subscribe. So that's looking really good there. And then if we click on form settings at the bottom there, we have some other options we can add to our form. So privacy policy, that's really important. We want to make sure that people have a good understanding of how we're going to use their personal information, how we're going to store it, what we're going to do with it, all those sorts of things, how they can access it. That's all really important, and it is usually included in our privacy policy. Now, I actually have a privacy policy on my website, and it's this page here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the URL of that page. I'm going to whip back over to my form. I'm going to turn on that privacy policy. It now says you can unsubscribe anytime. For more details, review our privacy policy. But that's great. Where do they review it? So let's click on the wee pencil there. I'm going to highlight the words privacy policy, and I'm going to add a link. So I'm going to add a link to my privacy policy. I'm going to click on insert link. We paste that link in there, and we make sure we tick here where it says open link in a new tab, because otherwise what will happen is they'll click on that to read our privacy policy. It's going to replace the form on the screen, and they're going to forget to sign up. So we want to make sure that form is still there. So now we click on insert, and now the words privacy policy have become a hyperlink, so people can click on that and it opens up the privacy policy. So I can go ahead and save that. Now, while we're in the form settings, where are we now? Let's go back to form and go back into settings. Okay, so down the bottom here, we've got, I'm in the wrong box. We want form, and then we want form settings. So down the bottom here, we have a few more options. Next, we can add a checkbox. So if I turn that on, you'll see that a wee checkbox pops up. So that's a really intentional opt-in. Then we have our GDPR compliant marketing permissions field. So if I click on that, it's going to populate this GDPR compliance section here. So if you are marketing to the EU and you need to be GDPR compliant, then that's where you would click there. Next one is interest groups. So if you have a number of groups, we obviously only have the website signups, but you might have, are you interested in this, and this? And you might list them all out and let people select their interest groups. And lastly, we have reCAPTCHA. So this is where we make sure that the person filling it in is a person and not a bot. So we might actually leave that one ticked. Great. Now let's click on, we haven't got our privacy policy. Okay, let's click on save there. So this is our form set up. It's looking pretty good, but now we need to tell people what they're opting into. Okay, so down here we have these layout options. I quite like this 2-column layout. So I'm going to grab that and drag that and put it right at the top of the page. And then I'm going to scroll back up and I'm going to have some text on the left-hand side. So I'm going to drag it and drop it into that left-hand column. And on the right hand side, I'm going to have an image. So I'm going to drag that over and drop it into the right hand side. So let's tackle the image first. So we want to click into this image box here. And then we want to browse. So when I click on browse, I'm going to be taken into my image library. Now you may have images saved in here as you get further down the track. So when you upload an image once, it's going to save it in here. But when we're starting out, you probably won't see anything in here. So we're going to click on upload image and we're going to select an image from our computer. We can double click on it. It's going to upload. Once it's uploaded, we're going to insert it. So we click on the green insert button and that's going to pop that image in there. Now, I don't love that shape. I think I'd rather a square. So we can actually do some basic editing. So if I click on edit image here, it's going to open up a really basic image editor and I'm going to crop this image into a square. So on the left, I'm going to click on transform. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to select square. I'm going to move that square down a wee bit. And then on the right, I'm going to hit save. And we'll see what that looks like. Hopefully that's going to look a little bit nicer. Any minute now. There we go. Great. So now we have our square image. So now we have our text. So again, we click in here and we start writing our text. So to save time, I'm actually going to copy and paste from another page on my website. So I'll get that text. I'll pop that in there. Actually, let's remove that formatting. Next piece of text here. And we'll paste that in. Okay. Let's add an enter in there. So we've got our text, but it doesn't look very nice. So let's format it. So I want that first line of text there. That's actually going to be a heading. Whoops. Let's select that there. And we want it to be a format. And we want heading 1. So we want that nice and big. Then I actually want the second line here also a little bit bigger, but I'm going to select heading 3. So that looks okay. Let's add some more space in there. How's that looking? Let's add another enter in there. Okay, so I think that's looking pretty good. We can obviously play around with it. We can change the color of the font, of the text. We can change the fonts. We can do all sorts of things there. But the key thing is to link it to your brand. So if they are moving from your website, we want it to be consistent with fonts, colors, all those sorts of things. But I'm pretty happy with that. I'll scroll on down and I'll have a look. So the only thing I don't love is the wee Mailerlite logo at the bottom. If that was a real issue, I could upgrade to a paid plan, but I'm not going to let that, bother me. So I think that's looking pretty good. So what we want to do on the right is click on preview and just have a look at what it's going to look like for everyone who sees this landing page. So we've got two options there. We can view it as it is on desktop and also on mobile. But let's just wait for it to load and we'll see what we see. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. Let's have a look on mobile. Cool, mobile view looks good. Awesome. Okay, so let's click on the wee X there. And so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to save and publish. So when we hit save and publish, what we can do there is we can adjust our landing page URL. So because we are using the free version of Mailerlite, we can't use our own domain here. So I'm going to put, let's go social smarty sign up. Okay. Now the favicon. So this little tiny image here is, if you can see at the very top there, see how my website has that little speech bubbly looking thing? That's part of my logo. So we can adjust that favicon there so that it looks a little bit more professional. We can see Google's one there and we can see Canva's one at the end there. As we come on down these SEO settings, these are what show when someone visits the website at the top. So where we have page title here, this is what shows along here. So join the Social Smarty email community. That's obviously my page title there. So it's important to take some time to work through these page keywords. If someone is searching on Google, what keywords are they searching to find your page? Page description. Now these two are probably less important because people will be clicking through from your website. It's not like we're expecting people to find this through searching on Google. The next one across is social share. So if someone did, or even yourself did, share this link on social media, what do we want that preview to look like? So again, we have our title here, we have our description, and we can upload an image there. And then we have analytics, so we can connect it up to our Google Analytics, our Facebook Pixel, that sort of thing. So once we're happy with that, we click on Save and Continue. And there we have our landing page, as simple as that. So what we want to do is copy this URL here, this copy here, and that is what we're going to link to our website, or what we are going to share on social media, what we're going to share with people so that they can click on that, come through and sign up to our emails. So let's just pop it in here, see what it looks like, make sure that's loading. Perfect. Cool. So there we have it. We have our setup. We've set up our landing page. People can sign up to our emails. We can get that email community growing and we are good to go.